shining through the pouring rain, looking out over the oceans, la 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 da da. La da la da la 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 da, London on summer days. La da la da 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 da. All right, y'all. I'm live now. Hey there. TikTok. Who is that? Renee. Good evening there. Uh, Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear a word they're saying. Only the echoes of my mind. I look like hell. I've been out here working in the yard and sawing and hammering. My face is all dirty. My throat's hoarse. Everybody's stopping staring. I don't see their faces, only the echoes in my mind. Isn't that one of the prettiest songs ever written? I'm going where the sun keeps shining through the pouring rain. Uh, Thank you there, John. Good evening, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. What else is out there? Is there missing one? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Hello, Gwinnett County. Peachy out there. Y'all ain't got nothing to say. I'm just, Ava. I did a little video I posted 30 minutes ago on my Facebook page and on TikTok where Kenny Rogers, one of his first time he ever had a hit. A lot of people don't understand that Kenny Rogers was a rocker long before he became the Kenny Rogers with Dolly Parton and all that. And so he was Kenny Rogers in the first edition. And the very first hit Kenny Rogers had, who is buried over here at Oakland Cemetery in Atlanta with this big black brown mausoleum thing as a homage to him or whatever. But the very first hit he had as a rocker was "I Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition Was In." I used to love it though. And Kenny Rogers. And then he, I guess he fizzled out and then he tried country. So he did a little version of a country song about, "You've painted up your lips and rolled and curled your tinted hair." Sad, sad song. "Ruby, are you contemplating going out somewhere?" And it was being told from an old Vietnam War vet that had got crippled in the war. And he was in love with Ruby. And when he came home, she didn't really like him no more because he lost his male functioning and he couldn't walk no more. He says, "It's hard to love a man whose legs are been paralyzed. Ruby, da 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 da." And anyhow, so I cut up with Ava all the time because when Ava goes out, she goes out. She's spent several hours a day getting her hair ironed and her hair did, as they say in the South. And good evening, Miss Rhonda, over on Facebook. And so I came home after I was over there. We did a walkthrough at Heather's house, and Heather and Kathy's over at her house cleaning. And I took a mattress over there. Heather don't even want to wait for her furniture to get delivered. I'm telling all her business. She said, put my mattress over there. I'll just go sleep on the floor and put some. I'm tired of this. She's staying in a $3,000 a month apartment in Grant Park, but yet she wants to get back to her house, even if she has to sleep on the floor. Old Ruby. You've painted up your lips. So anyhow, I cut up with Ava because like this week, Ava sits on the boards of these organizations, these gay organizations or whatever. And like this week, I think Out on Film's having a showing every night this week. I think tomorrow evening's the last night. So her being on the board of directors or whatever, she has to be at all the events. Like if they run for a solid week, she's got to be there every night because she's part of the hoop-de-doo or whatever, which to me is, for younger people like Ava, it's wonderful to be asked to be a part of organizations and sit on boards. Well, when you get to my age, you're like, that's all a bunch of boring stuff to me now. I don't care nothing about none of it. So, we always cut up that she's Dolly and I'm Carl. Carl just died here a week or so ago. I prefer to stay here on the farm and feed the chickens and watch my collards grow in this pot right here beside me. And but anyhow, I cut up with her all the time. I'm like, go on, Ruby, go on out there and give all your love to some other man. Ah, but she's usually home by 10. She's never really no later than 10. And we have this setup where she calls me and lets me know when she's leaving. It ain't a control thing, it's a thing of her being trans. I want to make sure that when she leaves the theater that she's, I know what's going on when she gets to her car. And then once she gets in the car and hits the road, she's good. But it's just a lot of danger out in cities at night, especially for trans people, and especially that Trump and his entourage of followers and supporters, they've instigated a lot of violence in this country against trans people. They're just being mocked and ridiculed. Oh, everybody's upset. Nobody knows a trans person. All these people on Facebook on here, all these shikamashatayas peoples on here, they ain't never met a trans person. They don't know a trans person. They've never seen one at their school. Oh, my God, they're just so bent out of shape. Oh, my God, the goddamn world's coming to an end. Trans people say they ain't never seen a trans person out there in Fayetteville, Georgia, and Locust Grove. Good Lord. It's just a bunch of foolishness. Anyhow, that's enough of my tangent for this evening. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, everybody, good evening, everybody out there in TikTok. I ain't been going live too much lately because it can be a little boring. Maybe when Savior gets done and me and her can sit and do like a Saturday Night Live and find something to discuss or whatever. I don't know if anything's going on. Has Trump already? I think I'm just assuming because I haven't really watched the news, not any today. I don't know if I watched any yesterday, but is the Ukraine war over now? I mean, didn't he say that on day one he would have the Ukraine war ended? So thank you, Miss Rhonda. I'll get my groove back with that, doing lives. Especially if I want to make any money that amounts to anything on social media, which I don't care. I don't even care about that. I got a little happy because when the money's turned into the thousands start rolling in, you're like, oh my God, hello out there. But a lot of that's dwindled down now. I got a little deposit today from social media, and which kind of makes you feel like, well, okay, Dan, not only am I posting stuff and saying stuff, and not only am my voice being heard, but the little bit of money gets put in the bank on top of it, which is kind of, maybe it feeds an ego or something, or makes you feel like, well, it's not for nothing. But yeah, on TikTok especially, you should do lives because somehow, from what I've understood about it, doing the lives kind of throws your algorithms in different ways that it'll, like when I do post a video, like the Ruby, why you taking your love to town, supposedly it throws it out there in a different kind of algorithm if you're doing lives. TikTok rewards you for doing lives by also opening other algorithms for your videos to get out there and get seen. I put a picture on Facebook yesterday of something expensive, a half dozen of eggs. Isn't that something? Y'all, I got more eggs. I took 2 dozen over to Kathy's. I have more eggs than I know what to do with. I typically I'll eat me. But I tell you what, me and that Rhonda mentioned eggs. Martha Stewart was on Dave Letterman one night, and I was watching her. And Martha Stewart's a billionaire, owns magazines, big country homes in Connecticut and all like that. And Dave asked her, because they were talking about cooking, said, if you was one of them scenarios where your final meal, what would it be? And because she's famous for cooking dishes and all like that, she said, really and truly, said, my final meal would probably be just a couple of fresh eggs. And I thought, that is so interesting that somebody that can have all the money in the world and at her age still love fresh eggs. So, but yeah, I have fresh eggs. I have for the last 2 or 3 years with my hens out here in my garden. And they're happy and follow me around. I had one Gertie that Boom Boom and Gracie one got a hold of and took her out of here, which they've lost interest in them now, but Gracie was just a puppy. But I'd come out and sit in my garden. If Gertie's out, Gertie'd hunt me down and come sit on my knee. Just want to sit in my lap. And, she left to be petted. I got kind of a little emotionally attached to a chicken, So anyhow, good evening, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. I have to make sure I ain't got no dirt or boogers on my face because I've been out here. Um, been out here. It's my favorite time of year to get out here in the yard and move some stuff around and dig some dirt up and doing that kind of stuff. So, top of the evening to everybody this evening. Drinking a lot of water. Yeah, I was telling everybody earlier, I got this thing going on in this eye where I catch myself doing like that. I was over at Heather's house today, and I said, "Yeah, this eye right here." She said, "Daddy, stop that! You look like a crazy person doing that. You make me nervous doing all that. Quit all that." I'm like looking around. I said, "Well, I got some cracks in my eye or something that's just come out of nowhere and started acting like that." But anyhow, y'all, since I haven't watched the news today, I'm assuming the Ukraine war has ended, and I'm assuming that Putin. Can y'all believe after that phone call yesterday, that 2-hour phone call where Putin told Donald Trump, he said he won't go along with the ceasefire, but they agreed that Russia won't bomb any infrastructure or hospitals and stuff like that. Well, 30 minutes later, after that conversation, Russia bombed the hell out of the infrastructure and the power companies and all in Ukraine. I mean, y'all, is he stupid? What's up with that? Good Lord. But yeah, the war is going to keep going on. I think maybe Russia is so tied into it now after 3 years, and they, from what I've read, that the Russia has lost about 800,000 soldiers. That's almost 1 million people that's been killed on the Russian side. And a drizzle, I haven't seen no snakes. And that's the other thing too. I let my chickens get out every evening and free range around my garden in the backyard. And there's all kind of reasons why I love having chickens. One is they scratch around. If there's little copperheads or snakes out there, them chickens will scratch them up out of the garden. And they'll go over. I'm telling you, I've got 4 hens, and they go over this garden with a fine tooth comb from bush to bush, scratching and looking for worms and snakes. And then I did a couple of years ago. I had a cat we called Henry. Henry would come out and of course, he'd go another part. He'd come out and find snakes, and I'd be getting up during the night, walk through the dining room like, oh my God, there'd be a snake laid in the floor. Henry had brought a snake home because they got a doggy door where you come through. Go out and kill snakes and bring them in and lay them in the house. I'm like, buddy, I know they say that cats do that to kind of honor you or bringing you a gift. I don't need snake gifts. But anyway, you have to be careful. And I've heard people say Florida's horrible for snakes, but they have rattlesnakes all down in Florida. Yeah. Drizzle, you have chickens? Good. You have a rooster and 4 hens that follow him around. See, if I lived out in the country where I could have a rooster, I'd love to have a rooster, but you can't have a rooster in communities and cities. I mean, there's people over here. I hear people crowing that's got roosters in the neighborhood. You're not supposed to have them. They're noisy. And not only that, but even if you could have them in little in-town neighborhoods like this, I would just have too much respect for my neighbors, because them roosters at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but they'll wake the whole neighborhood up. And I wouldn't want to. Yeah, Putin is a liar and Trump is weak. Putin has something on Trump. It certainly seems like that, don't it, Dana? You know, it's just weird, y'all. That's all that stuff's weird to me. It almost seems like people's I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't really believe Putin has anything on Trump, or I don't believe, I mean, my God, what could he have on him? That's what I would say. Because, I mean, if he had videos of him having sex with minors or whatever, who cares? No, his people that vote for him say, I don't care. Everybody should have a 12-year-old. It's just, they're weird. So he can't have, what else could he have on him? Yeah, I've seen them videos of Drizzle where the people go out there and check their eggs, and big old rat snake up in the thing swallowed an egg. And see, that would freak me out. That would just freak me out. So But y'all know, what do y'all think about people though that they knew? Listen, there's people that voted for Donald Trump. They knew. They will tell you they knew. They said we know he's full of shit. When he says I will end the Ukraine war on day one, we know he's full of shit. I mean, the most diehard Baptists today, yeah, we didn't believe none of that. If Trump says, oh, on day one, the price of groceries are coming down, the Baptist preacher up here at the Church of God in Blairsville, Georgia, tells, I knew he was full of shit. Nobody believed that. So what? So if somebody's full of shit and makes full of shit statements all the time, when is it you're supposed to ever believe them? You know, because their motives and all just seem so weird to me, you know. So, but anyhow, and you know, I put on, I watched a little bit. FDA recalls nearly 200,000 cans of green beans for potential contamination. Good Lord. Just seen a little scroll coming across. I watched a thing on CNN last night where that they was having a town hall, and supposedly, I ain't kept up with it, but Bernie Sanders and OAC, OCA, you know, the Congress lady from New York City, are holding town hall meetings across the country, and thousands of people are coming out. And I was watching Jake Tapper interview Bernie Sanders, and I thought, oh my God, he's running for president again. I mean, it's 3 years out, and Bernie Sanders is starting to run for president again to make sure he's going to carve out his niche out there to be that voice. And I agree with everything he says about the country being run by oligarchs, the country's the democracy. I agree with everything he says, but the Democrats have already lost 2 elections because of Bernie Sanders. You know, and there's people that believe that Bernie Sanders cost Hillary Clinton the election in 2016 because he was such an asshole about the way he went about closing out his thing, and he held back and waited. He didn't enthusiastically tell his supporters, which were rabid supporters. He didn't get any of them to come over and vote for Hillary Clinton, and some people believe he cost her that election. Because she lost very narrowly. She won the popular vote. Yeah, and like Dana, that's to me. I mean, I love what Bernie says as far as for education, for helps, for Social Security, for corporations. They do need to step up and balance this budget. And the top 5% shouldn't be getting most of the wealth out of the whole country. I mean, the whole system's kind of. I agree with everything Bernie says. Oh my God, please tell me he's not running for president again, because whoever will eventually be the Democratic nominee, he will cost them another election. And plus, my God, he's older than Methuselah. You know, good Lord, he's got to be 493 years old. And not only that, but he's kind of on the radical Jewish side of things. And I know a lot of you people are very rabid Palestinian supporters. But Bernie couldn't carry the Jewish vote, and he's Jewish, you know, because and I agree with him on his Jewish stuff about that too, about the Palestinians. So, and somebody over here says, who is that? Jill Stein calls Jill Stein so full of shit. I just don't like her. You know, I just don't like her. You know, somebody's telling me, no, sir. Well, y'all, the comments are coming by so good. Jill Stein, and you know, good Lord, y'all, wrong. Matt says Hillary cost Bernie the election. Bernie would have beaten Trump. Yeah, you know, and I've got some dirt down here in the bottom of the yard. I'd be glad to sell somebody. Yeah, that's. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The Bernie people are still rabid. You know, they love Bernie. They don't care if they said, screw the Democrats. We don't care if they win or not. We just going to vote for Bernie anyway. You know, and to me, and I know this, yeah, us young people love Bernie. Leslie says down in Darien, Georgia. I just don't think Bernie's the way forward to win. And y'all, we need a win at some point. We need some kind of systems, people And I don't think I love Pete Buttigieg. I don't think he can win a national election. I don't think the country will vote for a woman for president. And yeah, we've tried that 2 times and we've come up empty. Maybe the country, maybe at some point when, you know what, the famous person who said that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and get the same results, that's the kind of definition of an insanity. And I know you have to keep cracking these ceilings to get a woman president. But we're at a place in the country now where if it's just a 50-year-old white man, if it's a Democrat that's going to bring some kind of democracy and civility back to the Justice Department and to the gutting of the other agencies, we got to do what we got. Rhonda says she hopes that Bernie gets the Dems motivated. Yeah, but the thing about it is I lost something for Bernie when he did that 2016 to Hillary. You know, he hauled around. His support was so loose. You know, I don't. It's kind of weird once you lose a little something for somebody and you see them a side of them that you kind of worry about. You're like, yeah, I don't know about trusting that guy. You know. And the other thing too, and I know this right here pisses us, he's too goddamn old to be president. Yeah, I know we got an 80-year-old Donald Trump sitting up there right now, but guess what? He's too old and crazy to be president. It ain't got nothing to do with his age. He's just crazy. But I'm telling you, 80-year-old people, they need to be sitting out here in a rocking chair and looking at the sunset. They don't need to be negotiating with, what didn't he? Rhonda said Comey messed Hillary up. Wasn't he a strange, tall, lanky, weird dude? Wasn't he? He was just weird. I didn't like him. See, and that's the other thing. Once he did what he did, how could you ever put him back in office to do anything? He come across as shady. Yesterday, when Trump had a phone call scheduled with Putin was on stage at an event. When his interviewer asked if he needed to go because he would be late for the call, Putin publicly dismissed the question and laughter broke out. Brett Bruen, president of the Global Situation Room public relations firm, wrote, "Making leaders wait is an old Putin power play, but this is pretty brutal. Putin is publicly mocking Trump." Yeah. There was something shady about Comey, wasn't there? Up there. And the only thing I can say, I mean, we don't want to get in a war with Russia. Hillary cost Bernie the election, would have beaten Trump. I don't know about that. Let me get back here where I'm at. Do I play guitar? I love playing guitar. If you look on my TikTok page, you have to scroll way down because it's been a while. But I love drizzle. I love playing the guitar. Sometimes, every once in a while, if I'm being really good, my buddy Jim, who has Metron on Sundays at the Atlanta Theater, he'll send me a text and he'll be like, "Eddie, won't you come bring your guitar and perform for us and sing a couple of songs this Sunday?" And I get to get up on stage and in a theater and play my guitar and sing a song or two. In the sweet by and by. Or what is it? I have sung, I love singing the song, I can't even think of my songs anymore. But hey, one Sunday morning I sung That's How I Got to Memphis. If you love somebody enough, you follow wherever they go. That's how I got to Memphis. McCain was right about Putin. Hey, Bridget, good evening to you. Good evening, Pam Wentz. At this point, Scooby-Doo could be president and we'd be better off. Isn't that? Hey, Shannon. Yeah, I love playing the guitar too. Thank y'all for a few little gifts coming in over on TikTok. Hey, y'all, I'm sitting outside. I'm sitting out on my little patio in Atlanta, Georgia, for some of you that don't know where I'm coming from. And you talking about beautiful. It's like almost 80 degrees today, and it's got a little balmy this evening, like there's maybe some swirling going on, you know. You know, that's what they say, the swirl. That's what they say when black folks and white folks kind of get together. They got a little swirl going on there. You know, that's the old Southern thing. Some of y'all Northern folks wouldn't know about all that. I live an hour from you, Drizzle says. Yeah, so it's just beautiful, and I feel good. I woke up at 4:00 in the morning sick last night. Y'all, I'm not gonna always be harping on being old, but when you're 70 and I ain't 70 yet, but I've got a few more months. But in September, I turned 70. But my God, one day you can feel like, man, I feel like I'm 40 years old. I could go run up Stone Mountain. And the next day, you're like hacking and coughing. You're like, my God, am I about to die? You know, I just had heartburn so bad. But yeah, y'all, it's just, I've, uh, I've got so much stuff going on right now. And then there's other stuff in the works too I ain't going to talk about, but it's a little bit mind twisting and coming to decisions and, stuff about stuff and, how it goes. Swirl chocolate, but yeah, chocolate and vanilla. Or they used to say ebony and ivory. We get together and create some harmony. Yeah. Elizabeth Warren is the one, Leslie says. This America, if there ever is another election, will vote informed. Hopefully. I like Elizabeth Warren. I tell you, after seeing the way people didn't vote because of Kamala Harris, I lost a lot of my unction or whatever, believing that this country. Do we now? Hey, good evening, my cousin Connie over on Facebook. Do we not realize by now, after the last 5 or 6 years, how much racism and xenophobia and all that stuff is just so out in our country now, unleashed, unbridled? It makes me really have severe doubts that a woman can be elected president. And I'm hoping John Wick will rescue us. Yeah, I don't, Pam, you're making me come across as ignorant. I don't know who John Wick is. I'm hoping Brother Billy from the Righteous Brothers, not the Righteous Brothers, the Righteous Gemstones. I'm hoping Brother Billy will step up and come on and start running for president. We all get behind Brother Billy. Baby Brother Billy, for some of you people that don't watch the Righteous Gemstone. Yeah, so I'm hoping, I don't know, y'all. It's just we're living through history right now. Ola, Jacqueline, Ola, somebody says it'll take a financial crisis. Well, my God, can y'all believe it? Looks like we're heading for a financial crisis. I was talking just today, mentioning about a financial crisis. Kathy's SUV Honda's got some issues, and she needs to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to get it fixed and something like that. And she said, "Well, I don't know if I want to do that. If just get me another car." And then Jill said, "Well, if you're going to get another car, you need to get one within the next 30 to 60 days because once these tariffs kick in." And she sent us an article that a new car is going to go up between $1,250 to $4,000 depending on the tariffs in a month from now when they go into effect. And so Jill told her mom, said, "You probably can save $3,000 if you just went ahead and got it now before they do that." And my God, y'all, have you seen the origin story of the Righteous Gemstone? Oh my God. You know what, Leslie? I thought that was so out of character. I did watch that episode we're talking about the Righteous Gemstones. And I kept asking Ava, I'm like, I believe that's Bradley Cooper. And Ava was like, really? We kept looking. I'm like, oh my God, it is Bradley Cooper. And he was amazing playing as the original Righteous Gemstone. He was a crook in the Civil War, stealing gold off dead men's bodies. And they captured him, and he told them he was the preacher. And so he just learned to preach real good to spare his life so they wouldn't kill him. But I thought it was but it was just so weird because it's such a quirky, odd show. And then that was like a legit, I even told Ava, I'm like, Bradley Cooper's maybe to get nominated for an Emmy or something for the way he played that because he was really good in that episode. The Righteous Gemstones, everybody. Baby Brother Billy's running for president under the Democratic nomination. Let's start a movement. Let's draft Baby Brother Billy to run for president against Baby Huey, Donald Trump. Don't Donald Trump remind some of y'all remember Baby Huey? Mm-hmm. Like he just had a big diaper on. Yeah, and he's bloated. But anyway, yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. And Bradley Cooper, he's good anyhow. Of course, Ava gets all just fawns over him because he's got those pastel blue eyes. Yeah, baby Huey. So, but anyway, y'all, y'all, there's a breeze blowing. Thank y'all for all the hearts, the follows. But Huey was good natured. Yeah. I'm angry that anybody to go through this. Yeah. I don't believe in party membership. Yeah. Did y'all see the polls? I seen polls came out a day or two ago where the Democrats only had a 29% favorability rating. Well, that's shocking in itself, and that's all you heard about. But what you didn't hear about on the news, that the Republicans was only at 34%. So there's only like 5% difference in the country's favorability of Republicans and the Democrats. But on both sides, they're way down, 29%. Baby Chucky is more like it. He is like a little baby Chucky, isn't he? Dana said my daddy called her husband Baby Huey. Yeah, Baby Huey. But anyway, y'all. Yeah, it's just we're just going through it, and it's kind of. I'm telling you though, although we're all kind of checked out a little bit now, because really and truly, if we just being honest, I know we can be vocal and we can protest. And a lot of these people are showing up at these Republican congressional meetings and just storming in there and raising hell and ruckus. Yeah, we can do all that. But in reality, politically, there's nothing we can really do because Trump has the presidency. The MAGA has the Senate. MAGA has the House. MAGA has the Supreme Court. And somehow we've got to get one of those hopefully when the congressional races come back around in a year and a half, that we can get back control of the House. Well, really and truly, they're not doing nothing in the House, even with, they're only 1 or 2 votes away from losing the House. Yeah, there's not a whole lot we can do. But I tell you, I don't underestimate this for you people out here that comes across this, because this live will be dumped over on Instagram and YouTube. But people, comment on it a month from now. But I don't underestimate the power of you and me getting on TikTok, getting on these other platforms. I'm now on Substack, and I've really enjoyed Substack because it's mainly for writers, but you can post these videos. I don't know if you can go live on Substack, but I don't underestimate the power of these formats where you got thousands of people like Eddie Sellers and you go on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and they're like, what the hell's going on in the country? Well, these voices, our voices, are getting heard out across the country and around the world, And I even had people, when I was in my little heyday of part of the campaign for the Harris campaign, y'all would not believe the people from England and Australia even, and parts of Europe, from Germany and from France, that would just say, dude, you're just giving me a little bit of hope. I just hear you, and that's what our voices do. I didn't, Miss Leslie, I really haven't watched the news much, and I've never seen Fox News. To me, I don't fool with that. But I heard several people do videos on TikTok that I've seen where they were showing the marches the veterans was doing in Washington, and how that really none of the legacy media were covering. CNN, Fox, ABC, they're like, where's the coverage of the veterans marching? And so that's what I'm saying, these voices of ours, when we get on here and your voice and my voice, and we talk about Trump, to me, y'all, I don't care who it pisses off. I'm not going to skirt around Trump. I'm not going to sit there. I'll talk about Jesus one minute, and I'll talk about how Donald Trump's a big fat piece of dookie the next minute. I don't have no use for him. I think what he's doing to this country is just so horrible. It's just horrible what he's doing to this country. And these, I saw the best, but I saw it on BBC News. Pam says, talking to Leslie. See, and I saw it on TikTok because I've been tuned out of even over on TikTok, hey y'all, over on TikTok, I occasionally, when I'm doing my walk or something, Don Lemon does a lot of lives. Don Lemon got a $20 million check from Elon Musk when he got out and broke that contract or something. You hear all them rumors. But Don Lemon does a lot of lives on TikTok. And now he's free to say what he really thinks. And so I get news, still get news, but I don't get it from CNN or MSNBC or Fox, because basically the people that supported Trump own all them formats. If we're just going to be honest about it, the people that own CNN and MSNBC and all those big billionaire stock people that own all those corporations, they're big Trumpers. And the only reason they got Rachel Maddow on there, letting her go, because she's making them money, and as long as they can make money, they'll sell their soul to the devil. So anyhow, I'm just kind of like, I've just kind of tuned out of it, and I think I stay fairly informed. I trust my own vibe and my own energy and my own brain to comprehend what's going on. I can see it, I can feel it, I can. When somebody does a TikTok or on Instagram and says, out here in New Mexico, these women are protesting out here at the state house, I'm like, well, that's news for me. It connects me to them. I don't have to be told by CNN they out there in New Mexico protesting somewhere at the government building. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, y'all, let me see right here. We've been going about 36 minutes. That ought to be enough to get me a little bit up. But I am looking toward to the midterms, but I'm telling y'all, people, it could be real dicey when it comes time for him to leave office. I think they've started early. I think they're going to try to figure out a way for him to never, ever come out of that White House. And this is a white power, Christian, white nationalist, circumventing the Constitution. And this is basically a coup that's going on. I know people's like, oh, yeah, y'all know when we heard all that when the election happened. Now let's all take a breath and get through this. Y'all, nothing has changed. This is nothing but a white power nationalist Christian coup that's taken over the Supreme Court and taking over the White House, taking over the whole Washington. And I don't think we're going to get people from the other side to ever say, holy shit, what have we done? Until they go to check their bank account one month and their Social Security check didn't get deposited. That's when the wake up's going to happen. They're going to be like, holy shit. All those crazy people on TikTok and Facebook that was saying that wasn't going to happen or that was going to happen, and we thought they were all crazy. Now we realize they wasn't crazy. Where's our Social Security check at? Because there ain't nothing that billionaires would love more in the world than to figure out a way to quit paying people that need those $1,500, $1,200, $700 a month checks to try to get by. Republicans have always tried to do away with it. Always been against it. Republicans have always been against the school lunch program. Always been against helping poor kids. Pam says they're looking at their retirement portfolios and crying now. Y'all, I ain't got no retirement portfolio. I ain't got no stock. I got a couple of little rental houses, and one of the things we talked the last couple of days, we're about to put one of them. It's going to take 6 months to get it ready to sell over off Moreland, but put it up for sale because the finances is tight, hun, as they say in the hard times. And but there's lots of people out there that, they're on the cusp of retiring and they think they got 1.2 million in their 401k. That thing can drop to 500,000 real quick. And then first thing you know, like 2008, like, hell, I ain't got but $29 in that account now. Where did that? There was people in 2008 that had over $1 million in their 401ks and got down to nothing. And so, but what can you do? I tell you what, though, if I had money in a 401k now, I would have went ahead and tried to move it over some kind of way, because there's something. I have this theory, and it's just a theory of mine. Let's just say, and I'm going to go after I tell you this. Let's just say that Donald Trump wants to make sure he's president until he dies. How can he actually make that happen? I can tell you how he can make it happen. Collapse the country, have the whole nation to implode, have banks to belly up, have retirements to belly up, have the country itself to maybe default on its debt. Just let the whole thing implode, and then he owns the country. It's a broken country. There's hungry people everywhere. There's soup lines everywhere, but he's the owner of the country then. The people don't have no will to fight when they're hungry, when they're just sleeping on streets and under bridges by the millions, So if I hate to feel like there's some kind of conspiracy theory that gets in my head, but I'm like, what is he doing? Is he purposely trying to implode the country? Yeah, it's crazy, y'all. Love y'all. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to go in here because I tell you the other thing too I don't like about Ava. This week she's gone every night. So we have an episode of The White Lotus and The Righteous Gemstones I can't watch until she gets back home from doing all this. And I really got into this show Paradise, and we'd watched 3 episodes of it. So that's been on hold all week because Ava's like, don't watch nothing. I ain't got but a few nights and I'll be back and we can watch it. I'm like, all right. They handpicked our vice president. He has the smarts and evil heart to cram the white nationalist agenda down their throats. Yep. Love you, Connie. Y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. That maybe it's so nice this evening. Let me tell y'all this. It's so nice we had this time together. La da la da la da da la da. Don't we love Carol? La da la da la da 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 da. Good night. Tugging her ear. She's so precious. 90 years old. We just love Carol, don't we? See y'all.